Hi kiddos, and welcome to your week 5 lesson, which is all about autumn leaves, and I will give you a quick how-to if you'd like to plant potatoes at home. So let's start with our autumn leaves. So I have some plants with me, and if I were to look at the leaves of these plants, first of all, this is an onion plant, and I look and the leaves are long and skinny. I have this other one where the leaves are a little bit broader and they have kind of a waxy texture. And then this third plant where the leaves have a much softer texture and they're also very broad. And if I was trying to think of what these three plants have in common, the leaves are all the color green. And the reason that those leaves are green is because they contain a really important pigment that's called chlorophyll. And what chlorophyll does is it absorbs energy from the sun and it turns it into food for the plant. This is done through a process called photosynthesis. So chlorophyll, which is that green pigment in the plant, has such an important job, and that is why when you look around at trees and leaves and plants and bushes and whatever, green grass, it's green. But as we know, we are in the season of fall, which means that our days are getting a little bit shorter. It's a little bit later for the sun to rise and earlier for the sun to set. So chlorophyll, in order to do its job, needs sunlight. And when the days get shorter and there are fewer hours of sunlight, the chlorophyll can't do all that it needs to do. So what happens is leaves, they contain other pigments as well. They contain pigments of sometimes red, orange, yellow, even some really pretty browns or tans. So when chlorophyll can't do its job as well as it would like because there isn't enough sunlight, it begins to fade away. And those other pigments that are in leaves now have the opportunity where they can shine through. And that is why, maybe not in San Diego, but if you were to travel to other parts in North America, you would notice that the leaves are starting to change color. And it all has to do with the shorter hours or the shorter days and the fewer hours of sunlight. So that's autumn leaves. Now I'm gonna jump into potatoes. A few weeks back, I had asked you guys to set aside some organic, non-GMO potatoes. If you did that, this is how you can plant them. First, you need to think about where you're gonna plant them. You can plant them in the ground. You just wanna really loosen up the soil. You can plant them in a small pot. You can, at least like a 5-gallon pot. You could even do a trash can as long as you poke holes in the bottom so that allows for drainage when you water your potato plants. You can also plant them in growing bags or potato sacks or burlap sacks. I've seen it done so many ways. So what you wanna do is you wanna figure out where you're gonna plant your potatoes. Then you're gonna take your potato that you set aside a few days ago, and hopefully at this point it's started to grow some eyes, maybe even some small branches. The next thing you're gonna do, you're gonna take your potato, you're gonna cut it in half. You could actually create 2 potato plants with that one potato. So you're gonna cut it in half, you're gonna dig into your soil at least 5 inches deep. You're gonna put that flat side down into the bottom of the hole. You wanna make sure that your eyes or your stems are facing up because you want them to eventually reach the surface of the soil, break the surface, and be able to go through the process of photosynthesis and allow that plant to grow. So you planted your seed potato about 5 inches deep, then you're gonna bury it. From there, you just water and you wait. In time, once it does break through the surface of the soil, your plant's gonna continue to grow above ground. When the plant is 10 to 12 inches tall, you can start putting more soil around the base of the plant. That stem will then turn to roots and more roots will grow off of it, and more of your potato plants, which we're gonna, or new potatoes, which are also called tubers, are gonna begin to grow. So I recommend trying it. It's a lot of fun. Harvesting potatoes is one of my favorite things to do. You could do all different varieties of potatoes. It's up to you. So have fun with that. If you get an opportunity to go and see some leaves that are changing color, I definitely encourage that as well. I hope that you guys are all doing well, enjoying the month of October, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.